Hi traders, welcome to my video on the moving average and envelopes EA. In this video, I'm just going to give you a run through of this EA that I have developed for the MT4 trading platform. EA is free to use. You can get it using the link in the description below. So basically what this EA does is it combines the moving average and the envelopes indicators, and it can be used for trading signals or to trade on your behalf. Okay, we'll just run through some of the settings in the EA. First of all, this is the MT4 platform. You can see the strategy tester window here where I've loaded the moving average and envelopes EA there. You can see that I've selected the euro dollar symbol. The testing model is open prices only. I've chosen open prices only because the EA does use open logic for the indicators, and it's just a faster way of testing. However, once you've found some particular settings and you just want to give them a sterner test, you want to switch over to every tick. That will use then intra-bar prices, which can be important when it comes to stop loss, take profit, trailing stop, break even, so on and so forth. Okay, so you can choose the date as well that you want to test. So I've just selected here the last 4 to 5 months. Time period, chosen the 1 hour chart. I find signals tend to be more reliable on longer term chart time frames. That applies not just to this EA, but to trading in general. Okay. And then we're going to get to the expert properties. So this is the name. You can change the name of the expert advisor from the name tab. Okay, pop-up alerts. This basically means that there will be a pop-up window when there's a signal, which will tell you, for example, there's a buy signal on the euro dollar 4 hour chart, 1 hour chart, depending on the currency pair, trading instrument, and time frame that you are using. This is handy if you say you have, I don't know, 50 charts running the EA looking for signals on all of them. You can just get an alert so you know which chart to switch to. Okay, the same with email alerts, but this is handy if you're not going to be around your platform. You can just receive an email and then you know it's time to perhaps load up your platform and look for a trade or manage an existing position. SMS alerts as well. Okay, and then use trading. If you set use trading to true, not only will you get an alert, but you will also, the EA will place the trade and manage it for you. So you can have use trading and alerts both set to true if you like. So you know there's been a trade placed and you just might want to double check it or perhaps modify it. Or you can just have alerts, off and just set it to trade. Or vice versa. Don't let it trade, just let it send you alerts. Just depends on if you want to trade semi-automated or fully automated. So days filter is self-explanatory. This is the days of the week that you will receive signals or trades. Same with the hours filter. You can choose the hours to receive signals or have trades placed for you. Okay, magic number, this is the order ID, just to differentiate if you're running other EAs on your platform. Okay, maximum spread, maximum slippage. The EA won't take a trade if the broker spread slippage is greater than these values, which are in pips. Money management, so this is open orders limit, is the maximum amount of open orders the EA can have at any time. Okay. This is just to prevent there being, multiple entries in the same trade direction. By default, the EA will allow, if it's set to 1, it will allow 1 buy or 1 sell and or 1 sell trade at any time. Okay, lots, that's the position size. Okay, so if you want to trade 0.1 lots, you just put 0.1 in the lots field. Importantly, use risk. When this is set to false, the EA will use the lot size here. However, if you set use risk to true, you can set the risk percent you'd want to use there in the risk field. And the EA will automatically calculate the lot size to use for positions. So just basically ignore this lots field here. Okay. Stop loss and take profit, self-explanatory. and close opposite signal. If there's a signal in the opposite direction, if this is set to true, the EA will close out the trade. So let's just say you didn't have a stop loss, you didn't have a take profit, but you had close an opposite signal. The EA will just close trades, open and close trades whenever there's a signal, depending if it's a long or a short trade. Okay. So break even and trailing stop, you can set the EA to break even at a certain point in pips. So if we set it to 20 and this to true, the EA will move the stop loss to break even after 20 pips. And a trailing stop, if you set that to true, the EA will trail the price by this distance of pips. Okay, so as it continues in your favor, the trailing stop will be moved 20 pips from the price. Close percent, okay, you might want to close, I don't know, half the order, let's say 50%, once the break even point is reached. Okay, that'll close 50% of the order. And then as the trailing gap is reached, it will close another 50%, and so on and so forth until the minimum lot to close is reached. So if you just set minimum lot to close, let's just say you were trading one standard lot, minimum lot to close 0.5, and you had close percent at 50, the EA would just keep closing 50% of what's remaining of the position until there's 0.5 lots left, and then it just won't close anymore. It just let that position run. This can be good to lock in profits and try to capture big moves. Okay, if you set the minimum lot to close greater than the lot size you're using, say you're using one lot but you have minimum lot to close 2, just the EA will not close any of the position when the break even point and trailing gap points are reached. Okay, you can have break even set to true without the trailing stop or with the trailing stop, just depending on your money management preferences. Okay, so if we move on down, you've got these are the indicators. Basically, this is what's used for entry and exits. Moving average. So if you set the moving average to true, basically if the price is above the SMA value here, it's a simple moving average. The EA will send a buy signal. If it's below, it'll be a sell signal. Okay, and the moving average crossover setting here, if you set that to true, it's a buy signal when the fast SMA here crosses above the slow SMA here. And it's a sell signal if the fast SMA crosses below the slow SMA here. You can have both of these sets true, so you can have, say, moving average true, price has to be above or below the 200 MA, and the fast has to cross the slow, either up if price is above the SMA or down if price is below the SMA. If you want to just filter your moving average crossover trades in the direction of the overall trend. Okay, so envelopes as well. So you've got the envelopes reversal. You can see the envelopes on the chart behind. Okay, these are the envelopes, just a visual test I was running there. So an envelopes reversal is when price falls below the envelopes, it will be a buy trade. And when price goes above the envelopes, it will be a sell trade. Okay. And for a breakout, it just does the opposite. So for a breakout trade, if price was to break out below the envelope, it would be a sell. If price was to break out above the envelope, it would be a buy. And again, you can combine these indicators. So you might want to just have a long-term moving average filter of 200 and then trade pullbacks using the envelopes reversal and sell when price goes above the upper envelope. So that's all the settings there. Just for example, for that, if we just add a moving average of 200 on the chart. So if we had moving average set to true at 200, price would have to be below for a sell. Okay, and then if we had envelopes reversal set to true, it would sell when price goes above, closes above the upper envelope as it does here. So this would be a good way to jump into this trend, this big downtrend on a pullback here. And it would ignore all the buy signals. You don't want to buy against the trend, which is why it's handy to combine the indicators just to make sure we're trading in the direction of the trend. You can also, of course, use your own analysis. You might just mark the resistance here. You know, you can see the support level there is tested multiple times. You've got a triple top formation there. Price breaks out below this support level. Good momentum to the downside. Slight pullback here. Could have been trading that manually, or you could have just set the EA to take envelope reversals, MA crosses, just depending on your preferred trading strategy. And it can just send you alerts if you want to get alerted when the price crosses above the upper envelope. The EA can do that for you, and then you know, okay, maybe there's a pullback in this trend here that's forming, and I can look to enter on a pullback, or just wait for the breakout here. Again, same thing happens here. Just wait for the pullback and a big breakout to the downside there. EA can help you time these entries in line with the trend. You can adjust the envelope deviations. Okay, as you can see there, 0.1 and the periods as well. So 0.1 if we just modified the envelopes and had, let's say 0.5, it's just more sensitive, then you would get, these would be trades or alerts. Here, just more sensitive, depending on your trading style. But this can be a good way to be alerted when there's a pullback in a trend, or you can set it to trade the breakouts. You can set it to do the opposite. So when price is below the envelope and below the moving average here, and there's a breakout, sell, sell, sell. Okay. Semi-automated would be my preferred way, simply because I like to have some control over my trading and confirm signals myself. Also, money management. You'll find with EA's money management is quite rigid. Like, I wouldn't always have a 20 pip stop loss, wouldn't always have a 50 pip stop loss, I wouldn't always have a 100 pip stop loss. It just depends on the market conditions. Like, for example, if we took this, if we've seen this big move here, the breakout here, and then this pullback, and we look to enter, if I just zoom in for you there. If we wanted to enter on this after the breakout of this ledge here, okay, you can in fact see that support becomes resistance. So we know that's a strong level. See, price bounces off this support, okay, and then that support becomes resistance. But let's just say, for argument's sake, let's remove the grid. Oops. Remove the grid. Say, for argument's sake, we took this breakout trade here. I'd like to place my stop loss at a recent high, so that would be here, 25 pips. Okay, but if we were trading this breakout here, the recent high would be, a 10 pip stop loss would suffice. So EAs are rigid. By default, you just, you can perhaps use, I don't know, say a 50 pip stop loss, but be alerted, so that then you can go in and modify yourself after the EA's placed the initial stop loss, just to, protect you in a worst case scenario. Same with take profit. I mean, I'm not going to use a fixed, let's say every time you've got a 50 pip take profit, then you take this trade, you exit around here. Okay, 50 pips is great, but look how much you left on the table, over 200, a lot more pip potential. So I wouldn't actually use a take profit. Instead, I look for an opposite signal, perhaps when price crosses above this too long 200 moving average. There's no harm in locking in some profit, which is why the break even and trailing stop on the EA is good. If price started to pull back here and we had entered here, when the price pulls back here, we might just close part of the position, a quarter of it, let the rest run. And once we see this price continues to fall, close another quarter, let the rest run, just to bank profits. And when we capture big moves like this one, we want to maximize them as much as possible. If we would have exited for 50 pips here, look, it actually goes almost 400 pips. We just would have exited way prematurely. Of course, you can re-enter, but the more you re-enter, the higher your chances are of taking a wrong trade. And of course, you're paying more in broker commissions, spreads, fees, and just more stress, more time trading. Is better just to capture one big move and milk it as much as possible. And that's why the close on opposite signal setting can be quite good, because you can just not use a stop loss or take profit, and just have a close on opposite signal. When I say not use a stop loss or take profit, you still should have a hard stop loss. Like, you can just have the EA to set it, like I said, at 50 if you're on a 1 hour chart, and receive an alert, have your alert set to true, and then just go in there and see if it's at the recent high or the recent low. and amend it accordingly. Always lose a stop loss. Don't be confused by what I said there. I would always use a stop loss, maybe perhaps not a take profit because it can exit prematurely. I prefer to look at the market and see what it's telling us. Perhaps once you start seeing, these higher lows here, then you might want to think about, especially if you were in up there, you want to think about perhaps closing part of your position. You certainly wouldn't be looking to sell down here, okay? Which is why I think semi-automated is the best way to go, because, by logic, if the EA sees prices below the 200 SMA, we've had either a reversal on the envelopes or a breakout of the envelopes. Either way, selling here, you're just selling at the low. You're going to get caught in a bear trap. Instead, I would just browse my charts, look for a situation like this when prices in and around here, and then starts to break out to the downside or the upside. Then have my alerts set ready to, to pounce, time the entry in line with the overall trend. Okay, if we go back to the strategy tester, I did run a test here. It's not, not the worst performance of all. You can optimize the EA as well. So optimization is basically just click this button to optimize. What that does, if you go to expert properties, you can just choose the various settings that you want to combine just to see how they perform. So use trading set to true. Let's have close opposite signal, true or false, stop loss. So if you check any of these boxes, the optimization will run all possible combinations. So close opposite signal, it'll run true or false. Stop loss, we can run start, and say we'll start at 25 pips. We'll step in 25 pips and we'll finish at 50. So that will test a stop loss of 25 pips and 50 pips. Okay. Take profit, we will go from 0, 50 pips up to, let's say 200. So that will test 0, 50, 100, 150, and 200, because we're starting at 0, going to 200 in 50 steps. Okay, break even, we'll test that true or false. The break even point will be either 25 or 50. Use trailing stop, we'll set that true or false. The trailing gap will be either 25 or 50. Close percent, we'll either close nothing, 25% up to 75%, and the minimum lot to close, we'll leave that on how many lots. So we're trading one lot. Let's do minimum lot to close either 0, 0.5, or 1, which won't close anything because we're trading one lot. Okay, and we can test a combination of settings. So moving average true or false, moving average crossover true or false. Simple moving average, we'll optimize 50 up to 200. So that'll be 50, 100, 150, 200. SMA fast, let's go, which goes 7, 14, 21, 28. Let's go 35. Slow one, we'll start at 35. Perhaps we'll go to, should we go 35, 35, and then 70. I think that'll be fine. Or maybe we can go 105. Why not? Okay. Envelopes, we can true or false, reversal or breakout. And the period of envelopes, let's go 7, 7, 35, similar to what we did with the SMA. An envelope deviation, let's just go 0.05, 0.05 up to 0.1. Right, so we've chosen quite a few settings there, right, to optimize. In this optimization tab here, you can set, basically an optimization will combine all these different parameters that we've selected and show you what different results would be over the historical data that you've chosen. So in this instance, the euro dollar for the last 4 to 5 months on the 1 hour chart time frame. You can of course choose any instrument you wish, any time frame, and any historical data, for the last 5 months, 10 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever you like. Have the optimization checked and you will get the results. In this optimization, you can limit the results you see. So if you have balance minimum, Now let's go for maximal drawdown. So if you set the maximal drawdown to, let's say 20, okay, this will only give you results where the maximal drawdown is 20. I don't use these really because I like to see what different combinations would give so I know what's good and what's not. Okay, under testing, you can do positions, this direction, long, short, long and short. For instance, you don't necessarily even have to use a SMA filter. You could just have, okay, once you see this scenario that the market's falling and you're going to look for a short trade, you can just set the EA to short only, and then you'll only get short alerts regardless. Okay. And optimization parameters, I just like to optimize based on the balance. Genetic algorithm. When this is selected, what the strategy tester will do in MT4 is do what it deems to be the best possible combinations and ignore anything that it thinks won't give good results. If you uncheck this, it will do every possible combination, which depending on your computer can take a long time, depending on how many settings you're optimizing as well. We've selected quite a few here, so we will want to have genetic algorithms selected. Okay, and we'll just go with that same data that we were using, optimization, and spread's another thing. We use the current market spread. Just be careful if you're testing on the weekend and use current market spread. The spread can be higher than usual. You can always just adjust the spread in there manually. Okay, then you go to optimization results, and this will show you all the different possible combinations and the results that they produced. Okay, like this is, if you just sort it by profit, this is results using a 50 pip stop loss and 200 pip take profit, close signal true, break even true, the point, etc., etc. Just shows you all of the different settings that produced those results. And if you double click it, okay, it will load those particular settings into the EA settings here, and you can always save and load later when if you want to test again, or perhaps load them on your charts when you attach the EA to your charts. Let's just optimizations unchecked. Let's just run that individual test. Okay, and there you go. So that particular combination of settings produced not a bad graph at all. You can just open chart to see the trading activity that it would have done. Okay. I mean, this is pretty random. We don't really know about going into the settings, what's going on here. But for me, the thing about this is you can do what's called over optimization, curve fitting, and basically throw in enough what at the wall and hoping something sticks, which for me is not a reliable way to trade. A lot of developers, you'll see, they're just over optimizing EA to make it look fantastic like this over historical data without actually putting consideration into what's going on. And I'll prove that now, hopefully, by this optimization is over that particular data set that we've done. We'll just quickly go over these results as well. You can see the results by profit, trades, profit factor, okay, drawdown as monetary and cents and a percentage. Okay, so I sort it by profit. You might want to sort it by profit factor. Yeah, it just depends on what you're looking for. Okay, drawdown's nice to know that. But anyway, so we've just optimized those settings over this amount of data, 4 to 5 months. Let's take it back. Let's take it back a couple of years, and let's run those same settings that produce this graph over a couple of years. See what happens. That's what happens, and I can pretty much pinpoint exactly on the chart where our initial optimization started. And I'm going to go around here. Yeah, more or less here. It was October, wasn't it? September, October. Yeah, here. And we know it started there because that's what we optimized to make it look good. Okay, we optimized from around here. Okay, when in reality, we had just curve fitted or over-optimized for that particular data set. Going back, the results were not So good. Okay, so it's one thing you need to be careful of. Again, what I'm talking about, semi-automated being perhaps more flexible. Let's try and run an optimization over the last 2 years of data, see if we can get any good results. Combining the various settings in the EA. Okay. Personally, like the best way I'd use this EA is I'd have the moving average just to feel the trend direction, and the envelopes would be good if I'm looking for a reversal into the trend, like here. Okay, you can see moving average down. There's a reversal up here. Probably want the deviations wider than that. Potential signal to either trade on the reversal or, you know, even the breakout. To break out of a channel there, or if you're just more traditional and you want to see support, breakout, support becomes resistance, continuation. Okay, so let's see these optimization results. Okay, so this one is the top performing profit-wise. Let's run that. It doesn't look terrible at all. However, we've just optimized for the last 2 years of data, haven't we? Looks great, fantastic. The best EA ever? I don't think so. Let's take it back another 2 years. Okay, and then see what happens. Same settings. And let's guess where the optimization started. I'm going to say around here. Okay, slightly later, but you can see before it didn't perform as well, just because we had, it's not terrible in saying that, but it's not as good as it was where we optimized because we just curve fitted or over optimized for that particular data set. So go careful with that. Don't get your expectations up too much based on optimizations. You can, of course, different time frames. Let's try the 4-hour chart. Just do a little optimization on that. See what results we get back. Hopefully you find something useful in this. EA, as I said, is free to use. Link in the description. I've got many other expert advisors that you can help yourself to as well. I've also got one which combines nearly every MT4 indicator along with price action analysis, money management, just so you can create basically any MT4 trading strategy that you can think of. Okay, so the 4-hour chart, not terrible. Let's just choose that top one there. Just run that as an individual test. Okay, it's not bad. It's actually quite good, but again, over optimized. Pretty sure if we go back, let's be ambitious. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go back another 5 years. We're going over almost 10 years of data here, and let's see what happens. Over optimized. Okay, we can guess where our optimization started, right? Can we? It's got to be around here, right? Yep. 2021, that's where we were. Okay. We optimized for that data, so that's why it looked good. But before, it just goes to show that it's just a random bunch of settings. You can't be a good, well thought out strategy with good money management, discipline. Okay, have a plan, stick to it. Don't let emotions, negative emotions, fear, anger, and greed get in your way. And keep an eye on price action. Okay, hopefully you found something useful in this video. As I said, please help yourself to the EA. And I hope to catch you on the next one. Take care.